Hi guys. Today we're going to finish up the loose ends on the TC125 and see if it'll fire up on us. So let's get with it. All right, we've got our oil pump cable all hooked up here, and I've got it adjusted. You turn your throttle full to wide open, and there's a line right here and right here on the casting of the oil pump. Those should both align if your cable is adjusted right. And that's all you do. Right here, once you've got it at full throttle, you adjust the cable here until these two lines line up. Okay, there's supposed to be a little rubber piece that goes right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Now right here, but it's no longer available. So all I did was I wrapped some part of a motorcycle inner tube up enough there to cover that. And I've got to get a couple screws here and get this oil pump back on. Okay, the oil pump cover is held on by two screws, and one of them, the upper one, you've got this little clamp here that goes here at the top that keeps the cable in place, the electrical cable, right like that. I'm getting ready to take this thing off of the center stand here, so I need to get my chain hooked up. That will be the last piece, so we've got to get the oil pump cover on. We're done in there. Cable's adjusted. We've got our little inner tube piece there just to keep the chafing down here on the plastic tubing. And now this is pushed back behind the little clamp here. So now the original sprocket on these, rear sprocket, I believe is a 37. Suzuki still has them, but they're pretty expensive. And I believe that you're on your own to find a countershaft sprocket, and those are a 12. So what I did was I found a kit off of eBay, and I went to a 39 with two teeth up in the back and a 13, one tooth up in the front. So it gives me pretty much the same ratio. It's a little different, but not much. And I just wanted to stay as close as possible, but I just didn't want to spend the extra money for their setup. Let me get this busted apart here. All right, let's see if this thing will, see if we got enough links here. May have to cut it. Yeah, probably gonna have to cut a couple off. Yep. All right. Let me get this cut off and we'll get back to you. And you know, one thing I noticed about these, the TS and the TC, the TS uses a 428 chain and the TC uses a 520. So you've got to be careful about that when you're ordering your sprockets. I think Suzuki realized that this was under a little more stress being a trail bike, or could be, but probably in reality the TCs were thrashed harder than the TS, or the TSs were thrashed harder than the TCs. Anyhow, just my thought. All right, got that cut off. Sure everybody knows, but if you don't, make sure the closed end of your master link keeper is going in the line of travel. It's going to move this way, so that you want the closed end going toward the engine. Yeah, probably going to have to get a different screwdriver or a different wrench. There it goes. All right. Just a little adjustment here. That's still a little too tight. We'll go with that. Let's get this cover on. Don't want to forget our gasket here. And you do want to make sure that you've got your clutch and everything in here also. And make sure you put a little grease on the end of your clutch rod. And we've already got the washers and bearing back behind the linkage. So let's see if we can get it to line up. Looks like it might. If you need to know how to put all this stuff together, go back and look at the video I did on building this case up. Okay, we've got all our washers there. Let me get a little smaller scribe. Okay, so you can see all the linkage back there, and we've got to just make room for our spacer and make sure it fits into the washer. There it does. And then I've got grease on these, so we've got an outside washer with this serrated backside, then the bearing, and then this washer that fits over the spacer, just like that. And the bearing goes that way with the rollers out, just like that. Then you get a star washer, star lock washer, and your nut. And looks like you need a little, that rod that sticks out is, it's got a kind of a square face on it. Not anything that you can get a wrench on. Looks like probably the best way to deal with it is a vice grip. Just get on there like that and go ahead and tighten up your that should be it. Okay. Hopefully we got it all in there. Got the clutch all hooked up. We may have to adjust that a little bit. Our shifter on. And of course that may need to be adjusted position a little bit too. But we'll get it on there so we'll have something to shift with. Okay. And I'm going to have to lower this down a little bit to get the upper clutch cable installed. Just a little bit more and tighten the jam nut. Okay, feels good. We'll probably have to adjust a little bit here later on, but it's looking okay right now. Snug that one up, pull our cover down. Got our gasket on here. Looks like my battery's going south on that. All right, so everything's in there that needs to be there, I believe. If it's not, I guess I'll take it back off. And all these screws have a little lock washer under them, so make sure you got that. That should keep them from backing out, so I don't think I'd worry about having to put them in with a impact. All right, we're kind of getting a little further along now. Back on with the side covers. I think we're probably, for the most part, done in there. Don't forget your little rubber cushions and your spacers so you don't end up cracking the cover. And I think we're all done in here. This one's got the little push thing in the middle. And it's not wanting to line up. There it is. Be gentle with them side covers. Just, there ain't none of those around. I've got the battery in. I've got everything hooked up except for the hot wire to the battery. I've got one black wire back here and a green wire here that apparently this one doesn't use. I'm going over the schematic. I'm going to go over it a little bit more and make sure, but that's what it looks like at this point. Got all the signal lights hooked up. I didn't want to pull this zip tie yet until I am sure I don't need to get back into that little cover right here. I've just got to hook up the positive side of the battery. This little green one, it comes from the magneto area. Apparently it goes to a switch. It actually shows it going to the switch, but there's only one position here. So I'm thinking that's probably a different country, maybe. I did, let's see here, turn the switch on. And let's see what we got here. I'm seeing spark. I'm not sure whether it's showing up in your view or not. All right. Got a couple things to hook up in the headlight, and then I'll be able to screw it in. And this side's done. Just the gas tank going back on, I think. And back, the tank goes back on. Have to kind of figure out where all the cables go in there. I think that's it. Is that all the way up? It's not quite feeling like it. Yep, I think it is. Looks good there. Kind of made my own tie down here in the back, just out of a piece of inner tube. Just 15 bucks for that little rubber hold down plus shipping is a little too much out of sight for me. Can't see it. You know, that's the way I look at it. Bracket for the muffler. This gets a spring that goes to it, plus a rubber bumper, I believe, goes on there. Okay, looks like I've got that on backwards. I think it's going to go that way. But maybe I'll just leave it off until I get the pipe on. Then I'll know what it does. Wish to add a new heat guard there. I haven't seen better days, but that's what I've got to deal with. Here we've got our gasket, both gaskets in. There's one that goes under the pipe up inside the cylinder, and another one that seals between the pipe and the cylinder. Let's see what this thing's supposed to have going on down here. Yep, I actually think I was right the first time. I have to loosen this up a little bit over here. The rubber stopper right here goes up against the bracket I'm putting on, and then there's a spring that goes from the bracket I'm putting on to the pipe, and it holds it over. This one right there. Just like that. Oops. Looks like I'm 13. Okay, I've got some new hardware I'm going to put in here. They're still available from Suzuki, the new screws, the washers. So I'll get to that. What do you think of this fine day we have today. 125 miles from the Canadian border, and we got 70 plus degrees today on April 1st. I like it. Even if things aren't perfect, new hardware just makes everything look better. Okay. And we're getting our skid plate on the muffler installed. All right. And our fuel line, I've got it up already hooked up to the petcock. There's a little clamp there. There. We are getting there. All right, let's see if this thing is going to want to run for us. Let's see. Get some fuel in it. This little premix. filled into the carburetor. And we'll just give it a little squirt. And get our spark plug in. Get our fuse put in. I already tried the lights. I've got, I think, a bad signal flasher unit. So I'm going to have to run that down. I think it's just the flasher unit. I don't think there's anything wiring related, but we'll see. All right, let's see what she does here. Key on. Kind of smoky. I had the gas off. Seems to be idling okay. The pickup's okay. Just going to take some breaking in, a little tweaking, like I said, but I think everything's as it should be. We'll get on it here in a day or two and go for a ride, check out the transmission and all that. But as of right now, It's I believe it's a success. Let me take you around here a little bit. I've got headlight, dimmer, all that. Taillight's working. Brake light. The only issue I seem to have is the signal lights. I've got this side over here comes on. But doesn't flash, and the other side doesn't come on, and the flasher makes a lot of noise, so I don't know what our issue is. Sounds pretty good. I think it's plenty tight. The headlight bulb works here, the neutral does, the turn does not. Well, it does when it comes on this side, but it doesn't flash. So it looks like that's our issue. So again, if you like this content, if you want to see more of this, I've got several more bikes. I'll be starting on another one here pretty soon. Give me a thumbs up, give me a subscription if you haven't already. And thanks for going along for the ride. See you on the next video.